Welcome to Business Over Coffee International BOCI TV. Today is our Weave Your Own Web workshop, and we are specializing in LinkedIn today with our social media basic training BOCI certification. I am Sherry Henley, founder and CEO of Business Over Coffee International, and we have Mike Esposito of
Pinpoint Visibility.
There we go. And you are a certified LinkedIn specialist.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good deal. Now, we have a live audience, and this is a workshop. So we encourage you in the virtual world, all over the world, to participate with us. Follow the conversation at Twitter at BOCoffee, and also on Facebook at Business Over Coffee. We hope to see you there. Go to our site, businessovercoffee.com, and you can watch this on demand, if you're watching this afterwards, through our Ustream icon on the right-hand side. So we hope to see you there. Now, what do we do? This is for the entire audience. Audience, would you welcome the virtual audience? What do we do? We work with professionals who want to optimize three things. What are they?
Connections.
No. You're social media, educational exchange, and networking events. Okay, that's part of your homework for the next time. I'm going to say it again. We work with professionals who want to optimize three things. What are they? Social media, educational exchange, and networking events. There you go. Okay, now we have four things that we provide more tools for you to work with, and that is we provide connections, collaboration, exposure, which leads to more business, okay? So that's how we look. Now that was really slow. So I'm now going to say it again so it makes sense to you. And this is for our virtual audience as well, and for any visitors that are first timers. Why I will have you introduce your guests here in just a moment. We work with professionals who want to optimize their business through social media, educational exchange, and networking events. We provide tools for more connections, collaboration, exposure, and business. We are bringing everyone together for that purpose. And what do we mean by that? We are in collaboration with several, over 20 networking groups in the city, including Talk Shop, BNI, NAVO, you name it, it's out there. And so we have the resources for you to point you in the right directions. So enough about Business Over Coffee. I now want to introduce Mike Esposito and have you take a moment or two and tell us exactly what you do before we get into the homework session of this.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much. Yes, on the element of social media is one of the three pinnacle elements for BOCI. One of the things I found for professionals is the ever-growing importance of incorporating social media, whether you're looking for a job, whether you just want to meet other professionals, whether you want to promote your business. It's become really paramount to that individuals understand the power of social media. Now, certainly my concern was that it's very, very easy to get so inundated with so much social media that it can become a full-time job. So what I decided to do, and through my certification process, found that if I can get people to use one of the strongest social media tools, which is LinkedIn, that if they can do it very, very well, very efficiently, for less than 15 minutes a day, they can get a very, very large impact, the benefit of using social media. So through my certification process through Social Media Marketing University, I decided to specialize in LinkedIn, get my certification there, and now I'm promoting that through the greater Memphis area and nationally, hopefully someday, as I work with BOCI and others, to help those who want to embrace LinkedIn, don't know how to, and even if they had a presence, to maybe organize that presence a little bit more.
So we will have Q&A a little later.
Absolutely.
And you will also have a 30-minute segment where you are going to show all of us, including our virtual audience, how to get how many hits on your profile?
Well, I don't know about how to get hits, but I'm going to show one of the most critical elements of your LinkedIn profile that will get the exposure that you need. the ability to convert somebody who just sees your name on LinkedIn to say, wow, I'm compelled to want to look at that person's profile.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about one of the major elements of your profile.
Outstanding. So thank you so much, everyone. Welcome, Mike Esposito. And you can be found for the viewers and also those that are on their computers there if they'd like to go to your website or your LinkedIn profile.
Right, website www.pinpointvisibility.com.
Pinpointvisibility.com. There we go.
And certainly Mike Esposito, when you type that name, even though there's 250 of us, I'm listed as number one.
Yes, you are. I checked you out. That's ESPOSITO. I have it right up here for the audience. And you can also check out my LinkedIn page, which we'll be looking at a little later, under Sherry Henley, SHERRIHENLEY. And for those of you who are following here in the audience, I encourage you to take your smartphones out, go to your Twitter or your Facebook, and start tweeting at BOCOFFEE, at BOCOFFEE. Get involved in the conversation out there and pull people into what we're doing right here in this room. It is worldwide, and we are excited to have everyone who is viewing and everyone who is here to take in all this information. We are using hashtag BOCI and hashtag LinkedIn. In addition, check in on Facebook at Ridgeway Business Center. Everybody give it up for Ridgeway Business Center right here. And this is the BOCI headquarters. And you can also, if you wish, go to Business Over Coffee on Facebook and check in. But I always like to make sure that Ridgeway gets that SEO on their Facebook page because they're fabulous for our headquarters. And then our site, which we are looking at here, or we were, there we go. It should be up in just a second. It looks like there's an issue with the connection here on the, there we go. Is businessovercoffee.com. For those of you who are watching virtually, go to our site and set up your profile. It is about a 2-minute process and it's complimentary, so you're able to keep up with all this information. Real quick before we get into the training portion, we are not going to take time to actually stand and introduce ourselves today. I'm just going to mention a few of you as you're coming in. And I would like to mention, first of all, that Mike Esposito became a professional member, I believe it was last week. So you're one of our brand new professional members. Yes. So see what happens? Marla McKelvey renewed and is also in collaboration with us in healthcare. And that is a hot topic right now. So make sure if you have any questions about healthcare to contact Marlon. You can find him on our website as well. Marlon, I did have someone contact me about you this week, Deborah Norwood, and she's supposed to be contacting you. But if you want to follow up with her, she's on our site.
Oh, I looked at her briefly at the Better Business Bureau
Okay.
the other day.
Good,
Thank
good.
you
So
very
you've
much
made
for
that
that.
connection.
I was
Good deal.
afraid it was the NSA or somebody like that.
She actually saw your BOCI TV interview and said, I need to talk with him.
Wow.
And then we have Beverly Borick, who's out here in the audience, who makes beautiful jewelry. And she just made this for me. It's a choker, and it has what in it?
Glossy pearls and crystals and beads.
Wow, high end, high end. And you can find Beverly Borwick on businessovercoffee.com as well. We're not going to give out all kinds of websites right now, but in lieu of time. Then we have Marcella Harris, who is here with us. And that is how you're set up on our site, correct?
Diane Harris.
Marcella Diane Harris with Mela Luca. And you do have a real quick announcement about some tickets that you have.
I do. Anybody who is interested in the International Hot Rod Association and having a thunder show this Saturday at the Memphis Raceway, I have free tickets. There is a charge for parking, but the tickets are free if you want to come to me afterwards.
Outstanding. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
Mela Luca is a great product, and we just signed up with you. Then we have Sarah Henley, who is our BOCI consultant. Any questions you have about BOCI, see her or look her up online if you're watching virtually. Then we have Gina Davis, who is our hospitality leader, as well as custom growth group. And she's fabulous. Follow-up masterpiece right there. Then we have Rico Johnson back there serving coffee to everyone. I'm sure he'd even send you a virtual coffee. And you can go to sampleourcoffee.com right here. He sponsors every one of our events here at BOCI with Organo Gold. But make sure, since he's sponsoring us, that you get in contact with Rico. Now, Rico, have you set your profile up on our site? Make sure that's done today, because guess what? That is where I'm sending everybody. So make sure, RECO Johnson. All right, then we had Miss Delmar Johnson, who just walked in. Delmar Johnson Enterprises, who specializes in HR and career transition and many other things, journaling. I mean, just an all-around person. She's also our BOCI TV host. Everybody welcome Delmar. Then we have Wywood Harris back here, who is one of our member liaisons, also works very closely with the American Cancer Society and is tied in with Talk Shop, as well as Why So Joyful, and is a grief counselor, many things that she does. And Why is a great person to know. That's W-Y Harris. You can find her on businessovercoffee.com. I'm going to have you introduce your guest in just a moment. Then we have, Loretta McNary. I was just talking about you, by the way. Yes. I'm telling you, everybody welcome the Loretta McNary TV personality. And Sarah Henley came in and said, I saw Loretta, and I said, Loretta, I said I was going to spank you. Because you weren't here for the social media, because I know you've told me how much you need to learn it, so I'm so glad you're here.
What happened was, your consultant was at BNI, and I felt so guilty. I'm like, down the street, I better go.
All right. Well, today is about LinkedIn. So that's where Loretta and I met, was LinkedIn. So this is exciting. All right. Then we have Marcus, who just came in. Marcus Hanson. I always call you handsome, but it's Hanson.
We'll take that
And he is with Rising Fire. That's FYRE. You can find him. Great productions. They actually collaborate with us. And over here we have Kay Geller, who is one of our professional Boost interns, as well as our public relations person, and the owner of Do It Right, WRITE. And by the way, you'll be blogging, not today, but after the event, if you will, catching all this information. So the blog that's coming out will either be done by Kay or someone else, but I'm going to throw the ball to you for the first opportunity. There you go. All right. Then we have our tech team. Everybody give it up for our tech team, Ryan and David. And the hospitality team, we also have, which would be...
Today, Sarah's working, Beverly's working, and Marcella's working.
And Y is off. That's great. Did you say there's someone else in tech?
We've got a new person, but they're not starting to possibly next week. Claire.
Marlins.
Claire.
Yes.
McKelvey.
Yes. Outstanding.
I have trouble with it too.
Okay, and then we have Melinda Reed in the back, who sponsors me with the pink drink, and Loretta. Have you been drinking your skinny drink? Oh, okay. All right. Well, you're doing something right. So the skinny pink drink, you can find Melinda Reed on businessovercoffee.com, Making Memphis Slim. And by the way, guys, I have to tell you that we're growing so fast that I'm not going to be able to do this every time. Isn't that a good problem to have? That means during networking, you'll all be introducing yourself. Then we have Cretia in the back. And Cretia is just launching her business. And tell us again, real quickly, what that encompasses. Financials, correct?
No, actually, real estate, investing, and property management.
Investments, that's where I tied in the financials. Okay. Cretia. And then we have Marisha in the back with her motivation. So good to see you. And I think I got everybody, didn't I? Okay, good deal. So everybody, welcome everybody. And now we have a first-time guest, and we're very excited about her being here. And Wildwood Terrace is going to introduce her guest.
I'd like to introduce to you Tony Rowland, where yesterday we had ultimate collaboration. She's with the Memphis Business Journal, and she did a presentation at Talk Shop. And so I'm sure that with my loud mouth and my telling him about all the good things. So I invited her today. She has done her complimentary profile, and I tell you, I took her paper home yesterday. She has a wonderful presentation that is on Talk Shop. You can go in and watch the presentation, and there's a lot of jewels in here that she's mining.
That's great. Tony, correct? Would you stand, I'm sorry?
Tony, yes,
Tony, would you tell us exactly what you do with the journal?
I am the audience development director of Memphis Business Journal, and basically what that is I'm in charge of increasing the audience and developing our audience base, through our circulation, through our newsletters, through our events, and those are the three main areas. But just going out and making sure that we have the best audience out there, which we do, and of course we provide the number one business news source in the Mid-South.
I love it.
My job to bring those two together.
There you go. Go to Memphis Business Journal. Do you have a Twitter account?
We do, at MBJ.
At MBJ.
Yes.
Okay? So if you're out there tweeting, and also those in here, tweet to at MBJ. And everything that's happening here will be hitting that as well. Okay, so now, has everyone checked in and done everything you're supposed to do on your smartphones? If not, we're going to take 5 for you to do that. Check in, also tweet, also make sure that you get your coffee. So grab your phones, stand up, go to the back, grab a piece of, what do you have back there, Sarah? A brownie, $4, and they are homemade. So everybody stand, do a little networking. We'll take 5, and we'll be right back to get into LinkedIn.
You should be on TV.
We are.
I know what you mean. I'm so impressed. You're president. Wow, I'm seeing
There's no way to fix it. I'm gonna go ask him. Because I'm pretty sure even with the mic,
a lot more than you ever thought. Wow.
Leave it as is. No, that's just supposed to lose.
Amazing.
It is. It really is. I pinch myself. And it's such a great team.
It's actually scary when I actually see it working for my clients. Where they had no visibility, they make a couple of charges, and all of a sudden people are flooding into the TV. And I do a little bit, not very much on Twitter, only because I was trying to focus on getting my business going. I stayed up to midnight every night doing clients, but I can see when I start adding even more dimensionality to my business, how it's going to.
Keep up with tracking everything that's going on.
So I went to Hootsuite, I have a Hootsuite account, and I set up a bill coffee. And I'm supposed to set up one for Facebook too. That's a couple of
That's great. That's great. I love it. I love it. You're awesome. Okay, as everyone is having your seats, everyone please take your seats. I know that we have several people that have events coming up. Marisha, when is your next event that you would like to invite people?
I actually have two this month. I have June 19th and June 28th.
And all of that is on our site, correct? Okay, so you can go to businessovercoffee.com, go under events and look at her motivation. And you have two events, one on the 19th and one on the 28th. And I haven't been to one, but I've heard they're fabulous. And I don't know if you and Loretta have connected, but I did tell you that I felt like I should get you two connected. So that's just a shout out to you, Loretta. Now, Loretta, tell us when when is your next event at Loretta McNary Show?
I have so many. Just go online, but what's the day? I'm sorry, Sherry. Just please go. Forgive me, y'all.
For your live audience, do you do it on the first Friday?
And
First
we're adding another second Thursday event
Right.
for tapings as well. So
Okay.
and networking and all kinds of other stuff. So
Yeah, and you can find Loretta on our site as well. And you posted your events there? Do that so I can help promote you. Okay, yeah. But anyway, since you're the star in the room, what is your website?
LorettaMcNary.com. We're all stars. Yeah.
Well, none of us have ever interviewed Denzel Washington, okay? But you are right. We are all stars sparkling. Now, let's get into the meat of business. We are here to discuss LinkedIn. I have a certified specialist right here beside me. So what I'm going to do is show you from a novice standpoint. I'm going to take 30 minutes until 10 o'clock. And when I say novice, 2 years ago when I started Business Over Coffee International, I just dug in deep and I built this business with a lot of great people that came along with me. But I built it one brick at a time, with us now having over 1,100, almost 1,150 in membership, and just the numbers are just continuing to grow on every platform that we're on. Now, how did that happen? It happened because many reasons, but one of the reasons was that I was determined that any platform that I signed up with, that I set up a profile on, that I was going to make sure it was done with excellence. So I would say that if I have any tip for anybody here today, anything you do for yourself, but definitely for your business, make sure it is done with excellence, because you break that word down and excel is at the front of that word. So if you want to excel, it must be done with excellence. Now, your LinkedIn profile is very, very important. So starting out as a novice 2 years ago, at the end of last year, 2012, I got an email, and a lot of people did, where they were getting 5%, out of, 2 million, I believe, 5%, you were in the top 5% of views, or you were in the top 10% of views for your profile out of 2 million views. That's a lot. And so I was thinking, well, that'd be nice if I got one of those. And I got one that said I was in the top 1%. Now, that really made me feel good. It was such a great feeling, because I was a novice when I started on LinkedIn. And I really still am, but I just know what I'm doing is working. So I'm continuing to do it, okay? And I teach people to do what I've done in order to get noticed. You have to get noticed, or you have no reason to be out there. If you are on lockdown and nobody can see you, what do I mean by that? I mean, if your privacy settings are set to where nobody can see you, then there's no reason for you to be there. So we'll get into all that. That's a little deeper than I intended to go when it came to the privacy settings. But let's go to LinkedIn. And for those of you who are watching virtually, you can go to businessovercoffee.com. Go to the, and you can either watch up here on the screen or you can follow me on your computer, your choice. We are at businessovercoffee.com under the founder and CEO tab. If you go down, there's a LinkedIn, and I'm going to click there. It will take us to my profile. Okay. One of the things that is very important that I have found, and again, I'm definitely putting myself second to you because you are certified in this. But speaking from a standpoint of starting from nothing and going to where I've been in LinkedIn and where I am now, one of the things that's extremely important is your photograph. I said this about Facebook, I say it about LinkedIn. And something that I also learned recently is you can have the best photograph in the world on there. But if you have it set to private to where no one can see your picture, they're going to see a shadow. So do you want someone to see a shadow of you, or do you want them to see the professional you? Okay, so make sure that your privacy settings are set to where people can see your photo. Having all of your information filled out to 100%, no less than 95%, I would say, on your profile. Now, I'm going to refer to Mike, and we're going to do some dialoguing here. And how far off am I on that when it comes to the percentage of how you're, because LinkedIn gives you a percentage of your 75%, or your 100%, or your 25%. You're doing great, or you need to improve. So
The new indication on LinkedIn now is called profile strength. And the profile strength, certainly your goal is to be the highest that you can be, which is all-star. And basically,
I'm an all-star. Are you an all-star?
We're all-star.
All right. We're all going to become all-stars in here.
All-star is basically if you have all the major elements of your LinkedIn profile complete. And that includes a summary statement, includes a current job description, past job description. But it's an interesting fact, Sherry, that I think everyone should realize that 85% of all LinkedIn profiles are not complete. 85%.
85%.
It's just mind-blowing.
That's amazing. I love having you here beside me. This is great. Okay, so the reason why I'm here on mine is because I want to show you everything that you can do with yours. In order to set up your LinkedIn profile, you're going to go to linkedin.com, and then you will sign in and start to set it up. It will take you through, this is for beginners, it will take you through the prompts asking you, where did you go to school? When did you graduate? It will ask you all these questions. So anyone can go fill out a LinkedIn profile. It's that simplistic. It's the dedication to make sure that it's done, and a lot of extras are done. Now let's talk about those extras. You see here on the site, I can go in and actually add projects, languages, test scores, patents. I can add all those things if I want to, if it applies to me. I can add certifications, volunteering and causes. And so what I suggest, and this is when I work with anyone when it comes to resumes, definitely make sure that you go all the way back to elementary. I mean, seriously, looking at your certifications that you have ever done, look at yourself as a whole person from the time you were born until now. What have you done in volunteership? What have you done in business? What have you accomplished, and what are you accomplishing now? All of those things are extremely important. Then you have the background, which is your summary. Now, that's what they call it. I call it your biography. So I encourage you to go in, and what has worked for me is, instead of saying, I do this and I do that, an autobiography, instead I put a biography, which is Sherry Henley is. Sherry Henley, in addition to business success, Sherry is. So now you're writing the biography, because you will use this biography in other arenas as well. You will use this when you go speak somewhere. You'll need to have a PDF of your bio. Now, does everyone know the difference between a JPEG and a PDF, or a Word doc and a PDF? Okay, mostly. A PDF cannot be changed, okay? So it's important when you write something, if you don't want someone to be able to change it, if you leave it in a Word doc format, they can edit it. So make sure, that's just extra. Yeah. Okay, so now, right here it says, and this is something they recently added, so I need to get in here and get to work. All right, it says get discovered for your work. Add your videos, your images, and your documents. So what we just talked about, documents, you can add, I'm not sure if you can add PDFs there, but I see that there's an HTTP, so you could go to Google Docs in your Drive, and you could actually put the link. See right there where you can put the link to upload the file? So you can upload videos, you can upload photos, you can upload documents.
Which
That's,
does include PDF.
go ahead. Good. Comment on this.
No, yes, this is a new feature with the new interface that was just released in the last 2 to 3 weeks. I would imagine everyone now has this new interface. If you don't, you will be getting it in the next week or two. LinkedIn this is the 4th, believe it or not, interface change in the last 9 months.
It's constant.
And,
Yes.
and they're just trying to keep up with all the other social media sites like Facebook.
Try
and
keeping
Twitter.
up with all of them at one
And-
time.
and also they're trying to
No, I mean,
Oh,
try
right, oh,
keeping
yeah.
up with all of them at one
Right.
time.
So there's been a big demand for people wanting to add documents and making their
Yes.
profile a lot more dynamic looking. So LinkedIn has decided to enable that. It's driven with SlideShare as the engine behind that,
Mhm.
and now they integrated it into the new GUI interface that we use.
That's great to know, because they used to actually have Box.com.
And SlideShare both.
And
That's-
yes,
yeah,
where they
yeah.
were apps,
Right.
and you could actually integrate that, and
Mhm.
that went away. You could integrate your WordPress and all of that,
Right.
and it went away. So I love the fact that they've added this. So I'm showing you an example. Now that I know a PDF, well, actually Google Docs, can they be added?
I believe so. Let's
We're
try
gonna
it.
try it.
Oh, good. I like
Okay,
trying something.
so right here is a great overview of what we do here at Business Over Coffee that Sarah did. Wherever she is, she can wave at everybody. And so I would like to add that. So I'm going to go up to the top. I'm going to copy that URL at the very top. I'm going to go back to my LinkedIn page over here. And let's see if it will accept a document from the Google Drive. It did, didn't it?
And then you put the description. Good, I like that.
Okay, so I just saved it. Now, let's see what's there. I'm going to click on it and see if it will take me to it. A quick overview, Business Over Coffee, read original. Done.
Yep.
Wow.
Done. It's there. So I'm going to refer to you, deeper to you, Mike, on this. Since I just put that on there, the connections that I have on my homepage, will they see that I did that? Will it show up in their feed, on their
I mean,
news feed?
that you made that change? I mean,
That was added?
yes, if you have the switch in your settings that allows you to announce when you make changes, it's in one of your
Yes.
settings.
Under,
If you-
yeah, okay.
If you have that checked, means yes, any change you make will be broadcast to your network. Of course, I also say you really need to know when to turn it on and when to turn it
Sure,
off.
sure.
But certainly something as significant, Sherry, as what you did just then is important to have it on.
Yeah.
But all these little edits that you do, add a period here, correct
Sure.
a spelling error, you don't necessarily want to let the whole world know you've done
Yeah,
that.
right. All of the emails that go out say congratulate Mike Esposito, and all you did was add a period.
Right.
So, right. Okay, so Now, when we talk about settings, real quickly, I'm going up and you'll see your photo right there on the right-hand side when you're on your profile. And you go under that for privacy settings, which are extremely important. The most important thing of any profile is going to be your privacy settings, anywhere that you are. And you just scroll down and it will take you there. So it's supposed to take you there.
It should, it's just probably this.
Yeah, so anyway, that's where your privacy settings are, that's where you can upgrade. Now, let me ask you this question. I've had people ask me, and I've never paid a dime to be a paying member on LinkedIn, and yet I ended up in the 1%. So,
Which is
tell
a
us.
good point. 90% of all profiles, there's over 225 million profiles out there now on LinkedIn. 90% do not pay for the premium service. There's about 6 flavors of premium service now on LinkedIn. If you are a recruiter, somebody who uses LinkedIn heavily in
Sure.
research or for your business, I would then recommend you buying maybe the basic premium service. But I can tell you, Sherry, client after client of mine, I tell them you can do everything you need to do, including the metrics, which is really important.
and you're gonna cover that,
A little
right?
bit. I will
Yes.
talk a little bit about
Good.
that. You can get that with the free or basic account.
I love it, I love it. Good answer too, because I've been giving everybody that answer.
Excellent.
All right, so I'm glad I was right, because otherwise I would have to go back to my clients and say, I was wrong, I spoke to the pro over here. All right, so now, isn't that neat that we were able to add a Google Doc? We can add a PDF, all of those things. You make a PDF flyer, you can go right there and add it to your LinkedIn. Now, let's just see. Here you can add your positions. I have the professional boost position. I have the business over coffee. Now, a couple things I want to mention here is it says I have 3 recommendations on the professional boost program. Then you go down to the Business Over Coffee International. It says I have 10 or more recommendations. I think I have about 30. How did I get that? I had to ask for it. Everybody say, ask for what you want.
That's the one you want.
Okay, it wasn't that people were tracking me down saying, oh, she's the best thing since sliced bread. That wasn't it at all. It was, I believed in myself enough to say, okay, I need to contact Delmar, or I need to contact Mike, or I need to contact Loretta and see if she will write a recommendation for me. And then it's up to that person whether they do or not. And then once that recommendation comes back to you, it's up to you whether you accept it or not. So let's say that it's not really what you're looking for. You can either say to them, would you mind adding this, or this word is misspelled, or something like that. And then you send it back to them and they correct it. Or if someone sends a recommendation without you asking for it and it's not one that you don't want it to show, you can either accept it and hide it, or you can decline it. So you have control over what happens. Now, under privacy settings though, you have to make sure that it's not going to hit without you being able to accept it, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Yes.
All recommendations have to be approved by you. They don't automatically, they're not automatically added to your profile.
Okay.
Are you able to add a recommendation for a person or from a person who's not a member on LinkedIn? Like
No.
Okay, so they have.
But there's techniques you could use to benefit from somebody who does send you a recommendation via email, or even a handwritten note, or through other means.
Sure, you can scan it, or you can save it as a PDF, and you can upload it as a file.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So now you go to. I continued on to. I went way back, giving lots of information about where I've been, what I've done, and why did I do that? Not really because I felt like the world needed to know. I did it because I wanted my profile to be as high in the rankings as it could be in terms of 100%. And so now they've changed it from percentile to, I believe, stars. They have the all-star, and what's under that?
Oh, All-Star, it's expert. I would have wished if they would have reversed that, but it's All-Star, under that is expert, and then under that is intermediate.
Okay. All right, so there's 3 ranges, intermediate being the lowest.
There is a one below, that's beginner.
Okay, so there's the beginner, there's the intermediate range, there's the expert range, and there's the all-star range. You ultimately want to be to All-Star. Now, you can't get to All-Star overnight. That's going to take time, because the things I'm showing you right now, the recommendations, all of that brings you up. Every time you accept one, it brings you up, and I believe it affects your SEO.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now, let's go. I even went all the way back to my banking days in Chicago, and I got the chief credit officer and the president of the bank and all that, to send a recommendation. Oh, did I spend a lot of time on this? No. I might take every 3 months. I may go in there and I may say, oh, I need to request a few recommendations, and I'll spend maybe 30 minutes on it. Next thing I know, I've got the recommendations come in. Now, what happens is those people go and look at your profile. So now that brings you up, and once let's say for instance, a Terry Murphy, which you see on here. Terry Murphy has written a book with Donald Trump and all of that. So she has a lot of connections out there. A Bob Burr. A William Mott, who's going to be with us next week, by the way. Dr. William Mott from Nashville. This is big, y'all. Tell everybody. Those type of influential people connecting with you. A Loretta McNary, who has a lot of followers. It's our connections, as we would say, on LinkedIn. It's very important because it lends credibility to you, number one. Number two is that when they connect with you, or you are able to connect with them, then their connections are able to view your profile as well. So now you've got, let's say you ask 10 people to connect with you. Most of those people are going to look at your profile before they connect with you. And so what that does is it brings you up in the percentile ranges of how many times your profile's viewed during the year. Now, how does that translate into making money? Okay, because I'm sure we've got some people thinking that in here. That translates, for me, the way it has translated is I have built relationships. How many of you did I meet on LinkedIn? I know Loretta. Okay.
Yeah.
I met Patrina, who is our regional Nashville director, through LinkedIn. I met Terry Murphy through Patrina. See how it works? It just goes down the line. Bob Burr, a lot of the major connections that we have come through LinkedIn because it is a professional platform. It's all that Mike does because it's such a professional platform. It is going to get you noticed. There is a psychology behind it that I'm not going to try to act like I'm an expert on the psychology behind it. But I will say I'm meeting with Kurt Shaver today, actually, who is speaking at the Prosperity Series today. He's also an expert in LinkedIn. And he talks about the psychology of it. Are you going to share any of that for us?
I want to talk to you about that.
Great. Awesome. I'm interested in hearing more about that. But just being next to those influencers is very, very important in the way you are viewed in today's world. Let me give a prime example. I had someone call me the other day that had been in their profession for many, many years. And now all of a sudden they are no longer in that profession. And they're looking to go back to what they did, prior to that and so forth. And they have not kept up with social media during this time because they didn't really need it. So now they don't have a LinkedIn profile. They don't know what's going on out there in the social media world. The first thing I said to them was, guess what? The first place people are going to go when you go look for a job, to intern or to actually get a job. Let's say you're an independent contractor. They're going to go look at your LinkedIn profile. That should be the first thing. If you're not doing that, I encourage every one of you to do that because it tells you a lot about a person. It tells you if they don't have a picture up there that they're not a person of excellence. At least that's what it says to me.
Exactly. It's really critical that, especially a very quickly growing market on LinkedIn are college seniors. As you know, many college seniors are graduating without finding a job, and it's because they're not well networked in their profession or their proposed profession. So what is being advertised or promoted in colleges is to develop LinkedIn profiles for college seniors so that when they do graduate, they have a very broad network of professionals internationally. And so their opportunity to find that next job is greatly enhanced.
Sure, exactly. And I said it before that everything you put online is not written in pencil, it's written in pen. So for those college students especially, be careful, because 5 years from now, when you're in the professional world, all that stuff can be seen, that you know, it doesn't go away. All right, so let's get back to LinkedIn, and we're gonna open up for questions, a little networking, and at 10 o'clock, we'll have Mike in this chair. Now I am going down to, of course, any courses you've taken, college courses, certifications, anything like that. List it. Like I said, go back to your elementary years. It doesn't matter. If it's an accomplishment that you made, make sure it's on there. Marcus, I haven't looked at, do you have a LinkedIn profile? Have you put your movies and all the things that you've done on there as projects? That's a good thing for you to do. And when you look at it as an overall picture, and you really get down to the nitty-gritty of everything you've accomplished in your life and you put it on there, you're going to be blown away. It's going to give you so much confidence in yourself. So this is so important. And of course, you know your homework for next month. Second Thursday of every month, we have this workshop. Next month is Pinterest, everybody.
Yes.
Your homework is to have your profile completed. Okay?
An all-star?
Well, we hope you're an all-star, but at least have it completed for us to look at it. And we're going to look at your homework that you did for Facebook at the end of this workshop today. Okay? All right, now we get to skills and expertise. Going through and highlighting things, this is a part of the process of setting up your LinkedIn profile. Going through and highlighting things that you believe you are an expert in or that you do well, okay? And then what happens is LinkedIn has set it up now to where your followers can decide which one of those you do best. And it's very interesting because the things that you get endorsed for, mostly, you're going to finally, it starts taking shape, it takes time, but you finally start seeing what is it that I am projecting out there as my best quality, my best expertise. I have 97 endorsements in entrepreneurship, social media. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say how many, but the entrepreneurship being the first, social media, small business, event planning, public speaking, social networking. Yes, that's what I do. But you go down here and you see that I have team building listed and I have Facebook listed, and those land on a smaller endorsement. And another thing that happens is that people can actually add things to your endorsement. So if they say you're really good at follow-up, okay, Gina, and you don't have it listed, then they can say, well, I recommend Gina and follow-up. Then it's up to you. You'll get an email stating that's happened. It's up to you to approve whether that goes on your profile or not. Okay?
It's important, by the
Go
way,
ahead.
Sherry,
Add to
to
that, please.
have those skills and expertise. You can have up to 50. Those are also part of the search engine optimization, if you will, for LinkedIn. So it's important for you to have the top 50 skills that you have identified for yourself included in that list. So try to get to those 50. If you really sit down and start looking at the skills, it's very easy to identify 80, and it's going to be more difficult to pare it down to 50. The other thing you could do, very similar to the recommendations, is just like you ask for a recommendation, you can also ask for endorsements. Is like, say if maybe Sherry wants to increase her advertising ranking of that particular skill, she could ask her connection saying, would you please endorse me if you feel comfortable for advertising? And certainly you always ask, when you ask for something, you always say that you'll offer the same. If you have a skill you would like me to endorse, please let me know. This will allow those skills that not only they perceive as your strength, but the ones you know are your strength, to rise in the top 10 that are listed.
Right. And I did get a call the other day from someone right here that we've been in this office for 2 years together and never met. And he's the head of a group that's been around for 100 years in this city. And he saw me on LinkedIn. We talked about how does it turn into money. He's now one of my consultants. I sat down with him and I consulted him about social media privately. So it turns into money. This is a very professional platform. It's great. Gina?
Okay, so why don't you clarify that when you ask for these endorsements, you do that by updating your update, or should you send a private email?
A LinkedIn message is fine.
So
You can send
a
it,
private message.
correct, and you identify maybe the individuals that you know you for that skill, and ask them kindly. You wouldn't just ask for one, usually identify 4 or 5,
Four or five.
and ask, and don't assume that they're going to endorse you on all of them, but
Right.
say one or all would be very much appreciated, and I'll be happy to do the same for you.
Sure. And another quick thing that's very important is when you get that endorsement at the top where it shows you, and for those of you who are just getting started in LinkedIn, you'll see a box that will have 4 faces on it right now until they decide to change it. That will have 4 faces on it that will say endorse Marlon McKelvey in healthcare. Okay, and so obviously I would say click, and that's all it is. I mean, it's less than a half second, right, to endorse somebody. So definitely give your endorsements freely, but let me back up on that freely word. Make sure that you truly believe in that person and what you're endorsing. Because if it said, endorse Marlon in making jewelry, well, I mean, I know Marlon, and I know he's really good at healthcare, and he's really good at what he does, which is even more than healthcare. But I don't know that Marlon, he may make jewelry, I don't know, but I don't know that. So I'm not going to endorse that. So that's super important because it reflects who you are and your integrity.
One other thing I like to add on endorsements, just like a recommendation, send a thank you note for an individual who gives you an endorsement. It could be a very simple thank you. Acknowledge. That builds the quality relationship you have with individuals by communicating back and forth.
Sure, I like that. And we will open for Q&A here in just a second before we go to the second half with Mike telling us major important things. One of the things I have a question for you and for the audience for our virtual world. Gina, can I get you to check and see what's going on out there? 500 plus connections is all you're ever going to see.
Correct.
As far as how many connections people have. You want it to say 500 plus. That's not going to happen tomorrow. That's going to take time, and you want to make sure those are quality people that you're connected with, okay? So you're opening your Rolodex, basically, is what you're doing once you connect with those people. Now, let me ask you this. How can an individual like yourself go in and see how many connections you truly have?
Okay, the only way I could tell how many connections you have, other than the 500 plus, if you allow me to see your connections. If you notice that you have 500 plus and it's not blue, which means that you have restricted or your connections to see your connection list.
So under my settings, under my privacy
Exactly, that's
settings.
why privacy settings, you really need, there's over 24 different individual privacy settings you need to review. If you allow people to see that, and many people do, I can see all your hundreds and hundreds of connections. But if you don't, there's no way for me to know that you have more than 500. But you know, Sherry, that 500 plus is so important. That indicates that you're a super connector. A super connector is an individual who is perceived to be a thought leader in that particular industry that you are promoting yourself on LinkedIn. Those are the type of people you seek when you want to connect with individuals who you might not know but wish to connect with. So that 500 plus indication gives you an identification to see if that individual is worth connecting with. Typically, if you see somebody you'd like to connect with only has 15 connections, they're not very active in LinkedIn.
Right.
Number one, they're probably not going to respond back to you, not because they don't like you, it's because they're not on LinkedIn. But developing an indication that you're a super connector is very, very key for another reason. LinkedIn gives you special privileges when you get over the 500 mark, and I can go into this in a lot more detail. I do with my clients. There are a lot of switches that the LinkedIn developers provide. You remember when you try to look for somebody that says outside your area, OYA? Well, outside your area is not the 225 plus million people. It's the million or two additional people that LinkedIn will allow you to see outside your network. And when you get up to 500 plus, they expand that outside your network area for you.
So you're able to see more, connect with more
Correct.
people.
It's because they
Okay.
perceive or they are rewarding you for being more involved in LinkedIn. And that helps them with their advertisers.
Okay, now you have interest, personal details. I don't get too personal on LinkedIn. I have my birthday. I don't care if people know I'm 43, it doesn't matter. Some people don't want that showing. You can make it private. You do not have to fill those out, but some of that I like to put in only because it helps me complete my profile, which brings me up on my star.
Mhm.
My star is really important.
Right.
Okay, honors and awards, organizations. I need to go in and out a few on here, I see. But any organization you are a part of, list it on here, very important. You can go here, you can see recommendations, you can connections, you can customize the visibility right there at the bottom. Groups. I suggest you are part of 5, at least 5 groups, okay? On LinkedIn, super important. Make sure that they are either within your market or it is something that you like. And I'm going to show you a sample of that as I wrap up here. And then I am following just a few people. I'm following some influencers. I follow Tony Robbins. I love him. So that means that anytime he puts something out, I'm going to get an email that he has put something out. So if you can go in and find people that you admire, that you like what they put out, and maybe you want to share things every day, and you know they're going to give out quality information. So that's a good way to do that.
You also can follow companies too, which is important to do that, especially if you want to show your interest in your marketplace, or if you're wanting to close a deal with a company. It's very impressive to have that company listed in your profile that you're following.
I like that. And just real quickly, I clicked on groups. This shows all the groups that I am a part of. Okay. And then, and we do have a Business Over Coffee group. We have a Professional Boost Program group. We have a Bringing Everyone Together group. 2 of those are subgroups of Business Over Coffee. So we're not going to get into you going in and setting up groups for your business, but that is something that I want you to graduate to once you've gotten your LinkedIn profile the way it should be. Then you have companies. You can actually set your company up on LinkedIn, and you want to do that. I see the Greater Memphis Chamber here, certain people I'm following. We have Business Over Coffee on here as well. I'm not going to look for that. That's something that you can look at later in interest of time. I'm now going to my home, and I want to show you what LinkedIn does. It targets your interests. So every day you're going to see on your home page various blogs that are targeted to your interests. They can tell that I like leadership, so it's something about leadership. It's also a part of my influencers that are posting that I've gotten some of their information. If I go under interest here, my influencers, I can click on that and it will show me my influencers post, all the influencers I'm following. Who is an influencer? An influencer is someone that LinkedIn has chosen to be an influencer because of their ranking. Am I correct on that?
Yes, you are.
Okay. All right. And so now if you go down, I see where Y, Woods Harris. Oh, she put LinkedIn workshop at Ridgeway Business Center with Michael E. Way to go, Y. She's out there posting right now. Okay, I want you to see one thing, and this is the last thing I'm going to show you. Right here at the top is where you can put a status update. So I'm going to say, LinkedIn is a little more, it's more sharing 3 things I've learned about Warren Buffett. Okay, offbeat advice I wish I was given in school. Can you make money with same-day delivery? I see some things there that I'm not really interested in. So I'm going to go find a blog. All right, the way I'm finding a blog right now is I'm going to businessovercoffee.com and I'm going to our International Online News, which is a top tab. And there are blogs in here that are from all over the world, HBR, CNN, USA, Today, you name it, okay? And one of the blogs that looked interesting to me today was the smartest leaders make their own opportunities. So I'm going to click on that. And I'm gonna go up to the top and I'm gonna copy that link. I'm going back to LinkedIn. I want to show you how you can manage your time with social media. Okay, I just put that in there and it copied the photo. It says 1 through 5. I can click and decide which photo I want to show. I'm going to let HBR show. A lot of people like HBR, so I'll let that show. I'm going to delete that now because it's on there. Then I'm going to put how many people are you connected with that you would rank as a top leader? Question mark. Okay, so now I'm reaching out to try to get a conversation started so we can build a relationship. Now I'm gonna put at BO Coffee. Now that means it's going to hit my Twitter feed also. I'm going to hashtag BOCI. I'm going to hashtag LinkedIn. That means it's going to hit LinkedIn conversations on Twitter. Okay? I'm also, Loretta, what's your Twitter? LORETTAMCNARY. I'm going to put it on Loretta's. I'm going to put it on Shelley Bowers. By the way, I have all these, most of these memorized because we're always promoting other people. Okay, so now we've hit several streams. I'm going to put it on my own at Sherry Henley. Okay, so how many people do you think I just hit with just that? A lot. Okay, so it's going to hit all my connections, plus it's going to hit everybody on Twitter, plus it's going to hit these others. Now, there's more. I just put it there. I shared it to LinkedIn plus Twitter. I could have shared it to only LinkedIn, which means it would have only hit my home page on LinkedIn. Or I could, and all of this is up here, or I could have shared it only to my connections, which means it would have gone as an email. And I'm going to wrap up on this, then I'll come back to you, Gina. And then, now I'm going to go to share, and I'm going to show you something that's going to blow your mind, and it is the key to how I became in the top 1% on LinkedIn, and also the success of what we have today with BOCI. Okay, so I just pushed the share button. Everybody say the share button is my best friend.
Share button is my best friend.
Okay, I'm just going to put quick read. Okay, in interest of time. The Twitter is there. I've got my Twitter connected with my LinkedIn. I've got it visible to everyone. If I wanted to make it private, I could, but I'm going to make it to everyone. Post to groups. Remember me talking about groups? Well, because I'm a part of so many, here's what I do. And you can time me. Tell me how long this is going to take. See, they're all coming up. Now, how many people do you think is in each of these groups? There can be hundreds of thousands, you know. Entrepreneur Investment Forum, Event Planning Professionals, Founder, CEO, CXO, whatever all that means. Greater Memphis Chamber. I won't put them on. I'm going to stop, but you can see I could keep going, and I would actually have probably about 10 more. Then I would go to the subject, and I would put whatever it was that I could have copied and pasted, actually, which would have made it quicker. A quick read about, what did I just post? The HBR about leadership, was it?
Right.
About leadership. Okay, detail, I could put detail in if I want, I don't want, so. I could send to individuals if I wanted, I usually don't, but if you wanted to, you could, it would take you longer. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to click share. Now how many people, Mike, do you think I just hit with one click of a button?
Well, you have almost 11 million people in your network, and
Now, break that down for everybody,
so
right here.
if you look at, she has 1,750 first-level connections. Okay, don't expect you to get there in one day. Okay, But her entire network, and that's her first, second, and third, and the individual groups that she's involved in is rated at 10.7 million people. So she probably reached a vast majority of those people. So now, will everyone read her post? Probably not. But
Even at 1%, we're pretty
yeah,
good.
you're looking at hundreds of thousands of
Yeah.
people probably will look at her post. And guarantee you, tomorrow you're going to have probably 5 or 6 more people wanting to connect with you.
Sure, and the other day I had 31 views on my profile in one day.
Mhm.
And that, I just showed you a secret, okay? That is now not a secret, but it's something that everyone should know about how to optimize. If you're a novice like I was, and I don't know the things you know, but I just figured these things out. And you also connect with people in your group. You like or comment on things that they're doing as well. Now, new people since June 10th, and we are on June what?
13?
June 13th. New people in my network since June 10th. I've had 31,000 new people in my network. Okay? So that's as far as I'm going to go. We are going to, yes, we have some
Okay,
activity.
we have some activity that they're asking a question that I think is a really good question. And I'm not really sure who this is, but Get Real Fashion wants to know, how do you get people to endorse us for what our real skills are, not the random things LinkedIn puts up?
Again, what you would do is reach out to, in this case, Sherry could reach out to the 1,750 individuals saying, hi everyone, here's some skills that I feel are very important to me, and I know many of you out there know me for these skills. I would appreciate if you would endorse me in these specific skills, and you list 5, 6, 7 skills. And then you also close saying, I'd be happy, send me a note if you would want me to endorse you on some skills as well.
Well, let me ask this. So you said to go out and pick 50 of your skills. If you pick 50, will it make it only be those 50 that they pop up now?
Yes, I hate to go into even more advanced
Yeah.
But the
LinkedIn
basic
skills.
answer, yes.
The basic answer is yes, but you can, there are skill rankings that I work with my clients to pick the optimal 50 skills.
Right.
And that takes a couple hours to do because you can very easily identify 100 skills. So you want to take the top 50, and there's techniques I use to help you identify the
Good,
top 50
good.
skills.
So any other activity in the virtual world?
We've had some people here in the group. Marvin has posted that he's at this awesome workshop.
Marlon.
Marlon. Sarah Henley has told everybody about the basic training going on, and Wood commented on the media sessions we're getting
Okay.
started with.
Can you
Mike
check
Lee.
and see about followers and see who's followed us and who's favorited and all of that? That should be on my phone.
Yeah.
For now, we are going to take a break. I want to take 5. I'd like all of you to network, meet one another, and then let's get back to our computers, and Mike Esposito will be up next.
Wow, I am impressed. You really crammed in a lot. And I'm over here the whole time. Right? There's not over you're saying, no, you're saying great things. No. Well, a couple of things, but really you're using some particular terminology with the newer, but that's okay. I think
Like it was
it's
like
right, the stars.
I like that.
Yeah, and
That you, I want to.
right, but you open up so many interesting topics that I wish I had more time to elaborate to that, because you were doing very advanced.
I'm looking at another one.
techniques, but I think you just planted a lot of seeds for thought about it.
Oh, I want to hear no certain and so I think we've got me.
Too small. That's what I do with my clients. Oh, yeah. Let me see if I can load this up. Did you have help for that?
I do.
Oh, fine. Maybe next to like the
Like the city needs a hero, and it's like a guy like it's really stupid.
But I don't like it. Yes, I am.
Oh yeah, next one. Oh yeah. What? No longer that name. Yeah. Now you're the president.
to the DOC.
It's because that people like you so much. They're like turn it into that.
But it was very well written. I would have stopped it. She did a very good Correct. That's all you really care about is the hit.
Yeah, I got so many of them.
You can turn.
Maybe think of when you said about dating.
There are things that I go to, like the ones that you don't want to give updates on. The only time you want to give updates is when you proactively go into the network or proactively go to Firstly, the default is you don't tell LinkedIn that you don't want these updates. It's going to give you the updates. So you have to go into LinkedIn and tell them I don't want these updates for these groups or from the shares. So yeah, you're right. For a novice who doesn't know how to turn it off, it can be annoying. So there are settings that you can turn
Yeah, really, I've been.
Okay, I got you.
It surprised me how long I've been in LinkedIn, and now I'm actually done with it. In fact, I didn't hear anything at all. I've really been consuming live. It's hard to discussions just
That's what I mean. I've already had my
I saw that was going to so like
That's called so
I'll be in my office upstairs.
Oh yeah, just so it doesn't break the tip. I mean, we can take that off for a while.
yeah, let's do that. I'm sure I can.
Let's try this again.
Well, he's listening, he's an hour away from me, so companies,
Yeah, that's
it's a real job.
It's something of his own. It always
All right, okay, everybody can go ahead and have a seat, that would be great.
League for 2 years, he got to see.
But yeah, that's a simple way. We have to make it to everybody at this meeting.
It's not 50, 60-year-old people that's with that. He's out of the hospital. Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, we usually use the room light for the main tail station. I'm pretty sure if we use that, it would pick up. But, okay, thank you.
Well, we had these,
I know, but I mean,
pay $60 for golden. Probably a few. I don't know, everything else is free. Free. It's actually worth buying. I mean, I haven't heard the bill. Sometimes it is. Takes care. And guess what? He's doing what I was doing. He worked here, he walked for a couple of years, he broke the union, so to speak, so he has a very unique for a man, a young man his age. We've had every system.
my brother and me love it. It's cool. First the next Xbox 360 is cool.
You want me to use your profile as a example? Good. That's what I was thinking.
I got it. As an example, I don't actively remember people. That's when you complain.
Sometimes it's challenging.
Alright, are we ready to
I'm
go?
gonna put you first.
That's sort of
Do you have your session open? Did you close it? So just, is it just on your name? Right here. Okay, just go ahead.
Yeah, she should be connected on there. Alright, if everybody can have their seats. Everybody please take a seat. Everybody please take a seat.
Is there something going on?
You have a big man's voice ask everybody to have a seat.
Shut up!
Yeah, I was just trying to get by without having to.
Please.
Oh, thank you. Okay. All right, so we are back for the virtual audience. We've been networking, and I trust that you have been out there actually putting some information out on to Twitter. Dazzle has followed us. Dazzle is a fabulous jewelry store. Can I get an amen from over here? Have you been there?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay.
More than jewelry.
It is. It is. And so if you're a guy, you need to go buy for your girl, okay? And if you are a woman, you need to go buy for yourself. This is Dazzle in Germantown. And yes, I'm giving them a plug because as of today, they will be one of our newest professional members.
Wow.
They just followed us, and they have also become one of my consulting clients. So everybody shout out to Dazzle. All right, and looks like we have Taku Global who followed us. And Terry Murphy has posted a few things as well. Then our mentions. We have some things going on here in the room. So that's where we are on virtual. Welcome everybody. Okay, now we are going to turn this over to Mike Esposito, the certified expert in LinkedIn. So go for it.
Thank you very much. Sorry everyone, we had a little bit of technical difficulty with the presentation I prepared for specifically Business Over Coffee. However, we put together an older presentation that will suffice for what we're trying to do today. Pinpoint Visibility, that's the company that I have. Pinpoint, PIN stands for Professional Internet Networking Visibility. As I mentioned, I developed this company because of me seeing the growth of importance of social media, more specifically LinkedIn, for professionals. And that includes executives, professionals who are working, those in transition, and college students. My background very quickly, 25 years at FedEx, multiple IT management positions. I was IT director of a local healthcare medical center here. And as I was in transition myself in the last 10 years, when I left FedEx, I saw how important LinkedIn became for those in transition. And unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of information how to use LinkedIn very effectively. My background is an industrial engineer, a process engineer. And through the certification process, I found that there wasn't really a good systematic approach to how to optimize a LinkedIn profile. I put together that process, writing a book about it, Get Connected, a systematic approach for a successful LinkedIn profile. Hopefully that will be out later this year. A little plug there.
I love it.
So what I do is help people like yourselves who are just getting their feet wet, if you will, on LinkedIn. And what I'm going to share with you today are some very basic things that you need to improve your profile greatly. I know Sherry did a great job on some of the more advanced techniques, which are very, very exciting. Maybe that got you excited about how important LinkedIn is for you. Why do we use LinkedIn? Primarily, LinkedIn is the premier professional social media tool. You know, Facebook is great, but it was designed primarily for personal networking. Pinterest is very good in itself for different types of networking for individuals who have a lot of graphic, visual type of businesses.
Like the jewelry store.
Exactly.
And
Quite frankly, we have Google Plus and we have other social media sites that are wonderful, but if you take a look at the cumulative time that you would have to spend, not even including your emails that you have to do on a daily basis, you could be spending hours and hours and hours a day on social media. And that can be very frustrating. So I said, just like Sherry mentioned, do one and do one well. I mean, we do email relatively well. But if we have to do one thing well for social media, article after article I've read say that your best investment in time is in using LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is an avenue where not only you can research other companies, other professionals, but the real power of LinkedIn, when your profile is properly set up, is how people find you. Constantly people are on LinkedIn, 55 million searches a day. People are researching, looking for like-minded individuals, people who are interested in what you do. So obviously you want to be prepared, you want to be presented, so people come to you. So you're wanting to be found on LinkedIn. It's really, really important that your profile is such that you can be found. It is a time saver and information aggregator because you can do not only personal research, but you can do company research and news research as well on LinkedIn. LinkedIn launched in 2003. There were 81,000 profiles the first year, only 14 employees. Today it's over $1 billion company. The new numbers I've seen is 250 million profiles now available. There's 2.7 million company profiles now. They're adding 2 profiles a second on LinkedIn. That's how fast LinkedIn is growing. Over 1,000 company profiles are added on LinkedIn every day. Over 25 here, but now it's over 55 million professional searches per day.
I've got to go back to that. What is it per second?
2 new profiles per second.
2 new
worldwide.
profiles. I'm going to post that, okay?
But
That's great.
another good statistic that I want you to really understand and make you feel comfortable that LinkedIn is policing the quality of those profiles. And what I mean by quality is there are a lot of spammers out there. LinkedIn is deleting or freezing over 500 profiles a day from those people who are using LinkedIn incorrectly for the wrong purposes, and that's selling. LinkedIn is a professional networking, not necessarily selling. You can present yourself and then direct people to your website. But spammers, individuals who are outright marketing and putting pricing on LinkedIn, that is a no-no. If you have read the user agreement, like I'm sure everyone here has, I had to for my certification and took 3 tests on just the user agreement and the privacy agreement that LinkedIn has, which is like 30 pages of details. It says explicitly you're not to use LinkedIn, as a selling tool. You can market yourself. There's a difference between marketing and selling.
Right, can you break that down a little bit?
Sure.
About sharing blogs and the
Yes.
educational aspects. How can
Right, you
use
can
it?
educate giving information. You can certainly direct people to your blog. You can direct people to your marketing or selling pages, your website. But you cannot blatantly sell. For example, sending out a LinkedIn message to 10 million people saying, if you read this message, I'm going to give you a 10% discount if you go to my website. That is illegal. So, as I mentioned before, less than 10% of all people who use LinkedIn pays for LinkedIn. LinkedIn gets their $1 billion primarily from advertisers and not as much for the account. But you can indeed get all the benefits you need from LinkedIn by just using the full features of a basic account. 50% of all profiles are incomplete. 85%, this is a staggering number, Sherry, 85% are not optimized to be easily found. So even though you have a LinkedIn profile, I'm not saying you individually, most people have a profile out there, but they're not positioned that when these 55 million people search, that you will be found, or if you are, you're going to be found, and you're going to be on page number 39 of 5,000 people that meet that search criteria. So we talked about how important it is to have to become a super connector. As Sherry mentioned, 500 plus individuals denote one of the several key factors that denote you as a super connector. Only 17% of all the 250 million profiles out there are super connectors. You too can be a super connector. My clients are all super connectors.
Wow, back up on that. How do you make your clients all super connectors?
By going through the systematic process with them, identifying some of the areas that are very, very key, help them optimize their profile with keywords, and we're going to get into that a little bit today.
How long does that take? How many sessions with you would that take to be able to become a super connector?
Depending on how much time my client wants to spend, because there's homework involved, obviously. It could take anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks to do that, and that's working every night with me. We meet once a week, but every night meaning 15 to 20 minutes a night. I'm not saying hours and hours, but you do have to do homework because I really don't know your skills. I don't know the type of people that you want to reach out, and you've got to do some soul searching. I coach you through that, and then it takes time to reach out to 500 people because we do write a customized email, LinkedIn message rather, to each of the 500 people asking for their connection because I want to build a quality connection, not just quantity.
Yes, that's a point that Loretta had brought up a moment ago. Can you maybe voice that so that the expert here could give some feedback to you, Loretta?
I was wondering if I'm doing my business more harm than good by not accepting everybody, because I probably turned down, and I'm not saying this in a braggadocious way because I know everybody wants to be on TV, because it's not about
Sure.
So I'm turning down people a lot. I mean, I cannot tell you how many people I turned down. I've reached 500 plus a long time ago, and almost 10 million connections. So
Good.
without turning folk down, so should I accept everybody?
No, okay. Without getting into too much detail, you identify a brand that you bring to the table on LinkedIn. I'm an IT, before I became a LinkedIn coach, I was an IT management individual. And certainly individuals in that realm, lawyers, I deal with lawyers, HR people, operations folks, that sort of thing. But I did get individuals outside my brand. For example, I got a professional individual in New York City that was in acting. He acted on Broadway, wanted to connect with me. And so I didn't see how that connection would help. But as a caveat, if you are asked to connect with somebody that's outside your quote, your brand, it behooves you to write a special message to that individual explaining why you don't want to connect with them, or what is their intent. Let me give you a quick example. Is this actor wanted to connect with me, and I didn't see the benefit of connecting until I asked the question saying, sorry sir, I appreciate your interest in connecting with me, but I don't see how our connection can benefit. And he said, well, directly it doesn't, but indirectly I am trying to get into Fordham University in the IT arena. And I'm trying to build my network in IT as I embark on this new career change, because he wanted to leave acting, that profession. So by going back and forth with a personal email outside of connecting with that individual, I found that there was indeed a reason to connect with this individual, who has subsequently dropped his acting brand, if you will, on LinkedIn, is now in Fordham University as a junior now in IT. So yes, if you're going to reject somebody, if you want to call it reject, send them a personal email saying that you don't see there's a benefit. If you can maybe reinstate why you think there's a benefit to connect, I might reconsider. One reason I don't usually connect with individuals, and I'll get into it in a minute, is right down on the last one here. 35% of all LinkedIn profiles do not have a picture. If someone sends a connection request to me and they don't have a picture, I don't necessarily blow them off and say I'm not going to connect with you. I write an email saying, until you add a picture, even though they're an executive person or something like that, until they add a picture, I'm not going to connect with them. LinkedIn is a professional networking site, and one of the key criteria for me wanting to connect is understanding who you are. I don't want you to hide behind a blank icon. So I ask everyone that I connect with to have a picture. So,
Sure.
but you know, with 35, over a third of everybody on LinkedIn does
Yes.
that. And that's part of
Exactly,
the.
and for the people in here, how many of you have a professional photo? One, two. How many do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Those of you that do not, or if you need an updated professional photo, there are 2 different leads that I'm going to give you. One is Caroline Norwood, who comes to all of these events. She can do a headshot for you when she is here. She should be here next week, I believe. So you could schedule that in advance, and she does it for as low as $20 right here, okay? And the other person would be Charlicia Renata, that's RENATA .com, and she is fabulous. She did my professional photos. So it's important that you connect with someone, and those are great people right here in the Memphis area.
Cheryl Hurley actually did mine, and I thought she did an excellent job.
Okay, so I didn't realize she did that.
She doesn't
so.
really do it just to, kind of help out kind of.
Okay, but just so you know, Caroline is normally here, so I definitely promote her, our BOCI tech team leader.
Woo-hoo!
And CN photography. Had to make that plug.
Good. And you know, your picture doesn't have to be a studio quality picture, just a simple picture, your shoulders and up with a gentle smile on a white background, a gentle smile, and gentle, my bad, and a well lit face, and just like Sherry said, you have to see who you are. That's all that it takes. But not having a picture is a big no-no. There are 7 LinkedIn critical success factors, and I don't want to go into this, other to suffice to say that here's a couple of paradigms in social media, more specifically LinkedIn. LinkedIn is not a regurgitation of your resume. You use your resume to frame LinkedIn, okay? From there, you want to project these 7 elements on LinkedIn that you cannot do via a resume. A resume usually addresses the first critical success factor, and that is skills fit. Skills fit certainly is important, but there's other things I need before I feel comfortable connecting with you as a professional. Are you passionate about what you do? Are you likable? Can I trust you that you do a good job? Do you have great work ethics? These 7 elements in a good profile are very important. These elements come through either recommendations, endorsements, or things that you say, and activities that you are involved in. Sharing shows me your passion, your enthusiasm about getting involved in social media. So all this distinguishes you from your competition. Another paradigm is, and this is a very critical paradigm, Sherry, and that is marketing trumps talent. What does that mean? Does it mean you don't need talent? No, and you have to have talent. But marketing in social media is so much more powerful than the talent you have. You have to be able to market yourself. Does that mean lie? No, that means putting your best foot forward in a marketing sense. Now, are you a marketing expert? I'm not. But LinkedIn gives you the framework for putting together an amazing marketing campaign for free, because the basic account is all you need. So if you understand that, it's really important that is super critical for a successful LinkedIn profile, that you're trying to market yourself. Let's do a little bit of, before I run out of time, let's do a little bit of improvement to your LinkedIn profile. 2 quick things. There are 2 things I was going to present today as far as how to improve your profile. One is to have a picture, so definitely get a picture. The second most important thing you need to have on your profile is a powerful headline. A headline is that phrase that appears next to your picture or under your picture on a profile. There are different specific places on LinkedIn that is scored when somebody is searching for you. Say if someone's looking for an IT director, okay, they will type in IT Director Memphis in the advanced find on LinkedIn. Having those keywords, IT Director Memphis, are all important for my profile to appear on page 1. The headline has a 50 times factor of scoring those keywords. How do I identify keywords? That's for another day, but let me give you a very hot website that can help you with identifying what are the keywords for you and your business. The website is www.wordle, that's WORDLE.net. What Wordle.net produces is what's called a
Say that
word
again.
cloud. www.wordle.net. Wordle.net generates what's called a word cloud. What Wordle does with its engine, it produces a visual presentation of all the keywords in the document you should feed, that you feed into this particular website. So what you would do is take your marketing campaign, take your bio, take a job description, take your resume, feed it into Wordle, and it will tell you what are the most powerful words. It does it more than just calculate how many times that word is used. It actually identifies where that word is included in that document. If it's underlined, if it's bolded, it takes all those features and then tells you that this word is very, very important. So knowing those keywords, and sometimes the keywords are phrases, sometimes the keywords are industries, you want to use those keywords and place it in your headline. There's a multitude of different kinds of LinkedIn profiles. Sherry presented a very effective executive type of profile. However, most of us have another type of profile, and that is a profile, what's called a professional profile. There are student profiles, there are profiles for individuals in transition. What I was going to present to you today is a professional / an individual who is in transition kind of profile headline. So the marketing survey that Social Media University has done has calculated that the most effective headline formula, that is a winning formula, follows this premise. You start your headline with 3 or 4 keywords that Wordle can give you, or the ones that you feel are key to your business, with the phrase "with expertise in," and then add 2 to 3 skills or industries that separate you from everyone else. For example, mine was an IT director manager with expertise in healthcare and systems implementation. That separated me because I'm an IT director with healthcare experience versus all the IT directors that didn't say what they were involved in. So I wanted to capture all those people researching, looking for IT directors for healthcare, which is a very big market here in Memphis. So my profile would come up many, many times on a lot of searches because recruiters and others that were researching, they wanted an IT person that had healthcare experience versus just a generic IT director. Then the last element is a phrase that's so important, used by researchers now. It's becoming a growing phrase that they put in on the advanced find search bar. They want individuals that are open to new networking opportunities or to new opportunities, meaning they are willing to connect with you. How many times you say, gee, that person looks really interesting, but if I ask to connect with that person because I don't know them, will they accept my connection request? Well, that's a good concern, because you send out a connection request and you sit on it, and they sit on it, and they don't respond to you. You want to feel comfortable that when you connect with somebody, that the probability that they'll accept your connection request is very, very high, in the 95% percentile plus. Certain characteristics that you look for are they a super connector? Do they already have 500 plus connections? And number 2 is if in their headline and elsewhere in their LinkedIn profile, they have a phrase that says open to new opportunities or open to new networking opportunities. Open to new opportunities usually imply that you're in transition, that you're looking for another job opportunity. But if you add the word open to new networking opportunities, that indicates that, hey folks, I am an expert jeweler, okay, and with expertise in women's jewelry. I am open to new networking opportunities, meaning that you're letting the 200 plus million people who want to network with you because they have interest in jewelry, that they'll feel comfortable if they, step out and ask for an invite, connection request. So let's take a look for an example here. I had a client that had a headline that said process improvement manager, operations, distribution, supply chain, a lot of wonderful keywords, but really didn't tell me much. And they had another no-no is putting a telephone number in a headline, which if you read the user agreement, you cannot use numbers or any other elements in your headline. So plus your telephone number should be elsewhere in your profile. So a better, more impactful, and indeed a much more successful headline for this individual was manager operations process improvement with expertise in supply chain distribution, open to new opportunities. When we changed that headline, almost immediately that person started getting connection requests and started to get more people viewing his profile. So what I want to do is have everyone take a look at their profile. I'm going to do Beverly as an example, but I also want, and I think we have at least 5 to 10 minutes, is to help you with your headline, to see if I can improve your headline. So we're going to start with Beverly's and see if we can, let's see if you can help me, Sherry. Okay, here we go. Beverly has a nice, beautiful picture. I love Beverly's picture. Very warm, likable picture. Kudos to you, Beverly. That's excellent. She has a great name, but see this area underneath, and this is your headline. Owner, custom jewelry, artisan rather, glory shine dormant. Okay, this is great. It tells me something, but it also doesn't tell me other things. I would like, number one, all right, so she's a great artist, but gee, I mean, she's
Artist what?
But would she accept if I would approach you to connect? I don't see it there, so I might be a little skeptical versus when I did a search, there was George Jones in Atlanta, Georgia, that said, hey, I'm open to new networking opportunities. I'll probably click on George's profile and ask for an invite from George. So what might be a better thing is a couple things. In order to optimize your keywords, you must remove all kinds of slashes and dashes when you have words together. If you want to have owner, custom jewelry artisan, okay, you want to break up the 2 words, because when you have a slash, unfortunately, the way the LinkedIn search engine works, the only way they're going to find you is if they type in the word owner/custom, and no one's going to look for that. So you want owner, custom jewelry with expertise in ladies fashion or I'm sorry? Design, okay, and then you can use the pipe, which is over your enter key. If you would look at your shift key and your enter key, that little key above the enter key has a backslash and a little up and down graphic, which is a pipe key. You could use that, put a space before it, space after it, and say open to new networking opportunities. Having that phrase, I can almost guarantee in the next day or 2, people are going to start saying, hey Beverly, I do the same thing in California. I'd love to connect. As long as you don't feel that you're in competition with that person and you're like-minded people, wow, what kind of jewelry do you do there? I could share some ideas. You want to be a giver on LinkedIn. You don't just want to say, well, I'm not going to show you mine because you might steal. Don't go into LinkedIn feeling that people are going to steal. People are going to collaborate. You're going to give, but you're also going to get. So what kind, right, so you might want to say, gee, what kind of fashions are working out in the West? Oh, well, rings are a big thing there. Well, rings are okay here in the Mid-South, but necklaces seem to be doing better. But maybe you want to look at necklaces because it's really growing very big here in the Mid-South. But gee, show me some of your rings and saying, well, I never thought about that. Maybe I can start introducing a line of rings here. And because that person doesn't do any business in the Mid-South, and you're not in competition, you might learn something. And that is so wonderful. That is the beauty of LinkedIn. Plus, you make a connection, okay? And here's the neat thing about LinkedIn. I'm going to Nashville this weekend. And what I'm doing is I went on my connections and say, give me everybody who is in IT in Nashville that are my first line connection, because I have many thousands. And I came up with 6 people. I reached it out to those 6 people and say, listen, I'm going to be in Nashville on these days. I'm going to be available from 2 to 4 in the afternoon. I would love to meet you at a Starbucks. Here's kind of where my hotel is. There's a Starbucks down the street. If you can meet with me, I would love to. One person said, Mike, I would love to meet with you. It's not too far from my office. And that one person we've seen each other. I've never met him in person, but I see his wonderful picture. We've collaborated a couple times. I'm going to meet that individual Monday afternoon in Nashville. Imagine, Beverly, if you can meet somebody, if you happen to be going on vacation or whatever to California, meeting that individual and you can meet in person. That's the power of LinkedIn. You're stepping out, you build a quality relationship through messages back and forth, maybe even call each other, talk to each other. And then when you go out, you want to solidify that relationship with a visit in a non-threatening location like a Starbucks or Panera Bread.
And another way to connect would be to do it through Skype or Google Hangout prior to, so you feel a little more comfortable. A lot of times you need to make sure your spirits connect before you meet somebody. You have to watch out for, anything that might be dangerous. So
right, certainly. I filtered those 6 down to 5. There was one that I wasn't sure, but I ended up getting one good connection. I've done it in Dallas. I've done it in Atlanta. I've done it before in Nashville. I'm going to do it again. So use LinkedIn not to substitute face-to-face networking, but to supplement face-to-face networking.
I like that.
Is there anybody else that has a headline that they would like me to quickly critique? I won't bring it up if you don't want me to bring it up, but maybe if you could just say what your headline is now, and maybe we could brainstorm. Sure. So we'll do one more headline.
It just says my company, my husband been a marketing executive for them.
Okay. Having your company name in your headline doesn't help you with search engine optimization. That's elsewhere in your profile, okay? So instead of saying that, you might want to say you're what kind of an executive? What's your major job title? What's your
Health and wellness awareness.
Okay, senior health and wellness expert or a coach or whatever, with expertise in what areas of health and wellness do you want to focus on? Maybe
That was a diagnosis of cancer.
okay, oncology or others. So you want to have those kinds of keywords included in your headline, because that's a 50 times multiplier, those keywords. Having your company name, you're just promoting a company name, which is fine, but it doesn't help you, because no one's going to be researching your name or your company name through your headline. They're going to be, your company's secondary. Your skills and the industry that you're in is much more paramount. So you want to include that in your headline.
Thank you.
So use that and see if there's a difference. But I want to touch a little bit on measurements. We went to the measurements that Sherry had regarding how many connections she had, how many first-line connections. The other area that's really important for you to monitor, that will show you how successful you are on LinkedIn, are the 2 areas. One is called the number of searches you appeared on a daily basis, and the number of views you appeared on a daily basis. I noticed that Sherry had like 60 searches in 3 days. LinkedIn calculates sometimes by day, by week, by 3 days, by 90 days, depending on how frequently you are. Your goal, when your profile is optimized, you want to appear minimally 10 times a day in searches. Now you have to realize that sounds like a lot, but when you realize that there's 55 million searches a day, 10 a day is kind of low. But that research shows that if you can get to that level, so she was at 60 plus for 3 days, so that's 20 a day. Do the math. That's wonderful. Okay. Now the second calculation is, of those searches, how many views? How many times were they motivated to look at my profile? You want to get 50% of all your searches to be viewed. So if you were 10 a day, you want 5 views a day. All right? So now you have 5 people looking at your profile a day. Again, that's 5 out of 55 million, so it's a really small number, but very successfully you can get to that point, okay? And then the last conversion is you want that person, those 5 people who looked at your profile, to do one of 3 things. Either email you, call you, or send a request to connect message. That's that final master conversion that you want to know, and that should be 1 a day. You should average 1 email, telephone call or a connection request, but because of your LinkedIn account. And let me tell you, when this thing starts taking a life of its own, one other little trick that I can tell you that will help you in getting more connection requests, and Sherry did the perfect thing, is sharing, like she did share, or being involved in the groups. You can be a member of up to 50 groups. I recommend being as close to 50 as possible, and go into a group and then just read one of the threads in the group. Someone's going to say something about jewelry that really strikes an accord with you. You can agree with it and then maybe add a few more words. Or maybe it might not apply here in the Mid-South. So you can say, wonderful comment about rings being so successful in California, but I just want to give a heads up that, rings aren't as popular here in the South, possibly because X, Y, Z. And people appreciate that. Say, oh, maybe when I travel to the South, I shouldn't wear my fancy rings. I better wear my fancy necklaces, whatever. Right. Something like that. And I can guarantee if you get involved in a group that has 10,000 plus more members and make a very valid comment, no more than 3 sentences, you're going to get 2 or 3 connection requests the next day. It's just amazing. It's that powerful.
It is, absolutely. Wow, what a wealth of knowledge, right? We have like 3 minutes to take questions, so we're going to take 3 questions. All right, so
about
we have Rico in the back.
Yes, Rico.
Okay, Mike, if you would elaborate a little bit more on Facebook versus LinkedIn and why business professionals should target more on LinkedIn.
Right. One of the reasons the question was, why should people focus on LinkedIn versus Facebook? Again, Facebook was designed initially to be for personal connections. And unfortunately, it's now bleeding over to professional. Unfortunately, Facebook doesn't have a couple things. Number one, it doesn't have the metrics that you need to know if you're successful. Number two, again, as I tell my clients, I don't want you to spend more than 15 minutes a night doing professional social media. And if you have a Facebook account to manage, and you have Twitter, and you have LinkedIn, and Google Plus, and Pinterest, you're quickly diluting yourself. What I do is, in my summary statement and my headline, that is my Facebook, and I immediately point them to LinkedIn. So now I just have to manage my LinkedIn. So if they do see some presence on Facebook, it's a very basic LinkedIn profile but I point them immediately back to LinkedIn for more details.
And I think from another perspective, I do think that depends on the business that you're in. You should be, we have lots of experts here. We have Mike, we have me, we have Sridhar that was here before, we have different people we're bringing in, and everybody has a little bit of a different take on this. When it comes to the business that you're in, there should be 3 social media platforms that you use. And I truly believe that LinkedIn should be one of those. And then the other would depend on what you do. It's Facebook, Twitter, or Pinterest, but definitely 3. But if you're going to do 3 and do them halfway, then stick with 1. Okay? And LinkedIn is where I would attribute most of the business that has come to Business Over Coffee, as far as connections that have really snowballed, have been through LinkedIn.
Mike, second part of the question, do you have, I'm sorry, Sharon, you got 2 more questions, but do you have ways that they can spin off from your LinkedIn page to back to Facebook or Pinterest, or you don't put that on your
After your LinkedIn profile is optimized, then my clients that are at that level, they're super connected, then I do the link to Twitter and other social media sites.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay, and we have two more questions quickly.
About anything about LinkedIn. Yes.
I have 2 LinkedIn accounts because I had one when I was working at Baptist, and then I have one that was with another name. Because I have 2 Facebook accounts because I have 2 Facebook accounts. But my situation is that right now what I've been doing is just linking them together.
Okay. The best way to handle that, why, is one thing. Number one, per the user agreement, it's illegal to have 2 LinkedIn accounts.
Oh.
So what you need to do is pick one of the 2 and send LinkedIn customer service a message saying, hi, customer service, inadvertently I have 2 LinkedIn accounts. I'd like to resolve that to 1 LinkedIn account. Here's the account I want to keep. Here's the one I'd like to eliminate. Now, if you have connections from the other that you'd like to incorporate, you can ask, can you move all the connections from the one I want to delete into the first one? So the LinkedIn customer service account is simply customerservice@linkedin.com. Write a nice message. They're wonderful. They want to clean up their database. So
Sure.
they're not going to slap you on the hand saying, oh, you're a bad person. They
Right,
like to say.
and in the interest of time, this is something that was brought up, but I would say the same thing, Loretta, probably applies to Facebook, just an FYI there. Customer service on Facebook to combine your Facebook pages. I'm not sure. Okay, one more question. Tony.
A couple of times I've had an experience where if I wanted to connect with someone or wanted to actually, send them an email that's private, it will tell me at times I have to upgrade it. Like I can't do certain things without doing the upgrade. And being premium, that type of thing. And it's just varying instances. Now I'm not sure how to get around. I mean, obviously said, greater percentage of the folks on LinkedIn do not pay.
Right, depending again on your situation, because of being involved so heavily in Memphis Business Journal, there might be a justification for you to get one of the premium accounts. You do get a better sense of metrics, who's requesting to connect with you, and you probably want to do that. You're probably wanting to spend more than 15 minutes a day on LinkedIn because it really help you with specifically what you're doing in your business.
Well, and we have, that's our MBJ page, which we have, not just my own.
Okay, that's, you're talking about,
Right.
And we haven't even touched the company page because that's a whole other topic for another day.
Sure.
But yes, you can, in the company page as well, is pay for a premium account and get more statistics on using the company.
Right, you
profile.
should be able to message anyone you're connected with, but if you're not connected with them, unless you know their email address or something like that, then you're not going to be able to reach out to them unless there's ways to get around it, but a lot of times it's paying
Yes.
would be the way to get around it.
Right.
Okay.
And I think that was just my question is that, obviously everyone in your network you can, talk to and send those emails to if you're connected to them.
Sure,
Just
sure.
outside of that was.
Okay, all right, so wrapping up, we are wrapping up with our virtuals. Do we have any activity in the virtual world out there? If you'd let me know. Those of you who did homework for Facebook last time, would you raise your hand? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 people, okay. All right, so those 4 people I will need to see after we dismiss here. I would like to welcome, I believe you've been here once before, haven't you? No, okay. Tell us your name and what you do.
I'm Jeremy Veldman. I met you through BNI.
Yes,
Hello,
I
Sarah.
remember you, Jeremy.
I'm a full-time real estate investor / entrepreneur. I've got a LinkedIn profile. It's about 90%. I'm trying to get it to 100%.
Okay.
All right, you're in the right place.
Mhm.
Everyone, welcome Jeremy. Thank you. Okay, if you have any questions about business over coffee, why would you stand? Sarah, would you stand? Delmar, would you stand? Gina, would you stand? Rico, would you stand? Okay, these are the people you need to see if you have any questions about joining as a member and all the benefits that you get for that. Okay, all right, that's a wrap. Anything else pressing? Okay, we're done. Thank you for joining us virtually. We will be back here next week with BOCI. Click and connect. Everybody be here. It's going to be huge. SunTrust is sponsoring. The marketing director of the state of Tennessee will be here from SunTrust. In addition, we have a special guest, Dr. William R. Mott, PhD of the board game. He is being brought in by SunTrust, and he is coming exclusively to our BOCI event next week from 9 to 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. He will be doing book signings as well and taking Q&A. In addition to that, Joe Garner of Talk Shop will be here to speak, and Mark Van Stolk will be giving also some interesting facts on business coaching. So you do not want to miss. If you're an advisor or an executive council of BOCI or a team leader or, well, a member, period, be here, okay? If you're in collaboration with us, be here. It's going to be awesome for everybody. Thank you again. Continue bringing everyone together, and we will see you next time. Everybody, give a shout out to the virtual world. All right, let's network.
All right.
Thank you. Awesome.